I love stories. I love fairy tales. I love reading and acting and writing and filmmaking and theater and just anything that has to do with telling stories. It's like right up my alley. And I just feel like we don't tell each other stories in real life enough. Like, we don't just sit down and tell people random stories. Like, we'll tell stories about our day and stuff, but like, random imagination stories are a lot harder to come across. And that's kind of what I want to do. I mean, it's not kind of what I want to do, it is what I want to do. I want to tell stories that are like just fun and whimsical and they're improv. And then I can stretch my storytelling muscles, develop my improv muscles, and just make the world a slightly more whimsical and charming place to be in, because those things are kind of in short supply right now. So, anyways, I hope you'll join me in my journey, and I'm just gonna sit here and tell stories, and we'll see where they go. Yep, cool. So, guess y'all want a story or something, right? Okay, so once upon a time, there was this little dragon, and he was having flying lessons. I don't like that because I want to make this dragon female. So we're going to start again. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a little dragon, and she was taking flying lessons with a bunch of other little dragons and a couple, like, you know, big dragons, smarter dragons. What do you call them? Like driver's ed dragons? Something like that. Um, and so they were practicing flying around the ocean and like doing swoops and dives to learn how to catch fish and all of that good stuff. When all of a sudden, this giant, unexpected thunderstorm rolled in. Um, because their like weather forecasting dragon had accidentally eaten the wrong kind of rocks, and he had a stomach ache, and so nobody got the weather for that day, and they just figured it was fine, but it was not fine, and there was this giant thunderstorm that blew in the middle of their lesson. And so they were kind of far out from the land because in order to do certain kinds of dives and whatever, you have to be where there's deep water and you can't be near the shore. Um, so they they started heading back towards the land, but then this big updraft came along and snagged the little dragon, and she got stuck and pummeled and twirled around by the sky, and it just got darker and colder, and then she flew into a cloud and she couldn't see where she was going. And so she just tried as best as she could to like keep her wings out and hopefully ride out the storm. Um, and it was a pretty nasty couple of hours. She got really, really tired and her wings got sore, and she was terrified because she was separated from her friends and from the dragon driver's ed and had no idea what to do because they hadn't gotten up to storm lessons in dragon flying lessons. Um, but if she knew, like, she would have definitely gotten an A plus pass from her instructors because she did everything right, but it was like a crazy storm. So, of course, she she was tired. Um, and finally, the storm ended, and it just turned into this like gray, miserable rain. And when she finally, like, she fluttered down because her wings were really tired and came out from the gray clouds, she was in a totally different place to where she was expecting. There was this island all underneath her. And it was not the coastline that she was familiar with. But she was really, really, really tired. So she flew down and curled up in a miserable, cold, wet pile on the beach and fell asleep.